everybody, it's Ingrid Blackburn. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm participating in a video hop for the new Home for the Holidays Stamp of Approval collection. We're going to jump right into it. You can see here I have several blocks. I've got the brand new, really large, colossal block is what I call it, and then the long rectangle block, which is great for border stamps, and the regular sized large rectangle, and that's good for your larger size stamps. But this colossal block is so amazing. Look, I'm lining up 5 different border stamps from Cozy Borders. Love this new stamp set. It's part of the Home for the Holidays collection, which works so great. All the different stamps and dies that are in it work so great together. But look at this. I can get all 6 on this one block, and I can stamp these all together, which is going to save me so much time. And what's awesome about this block is it's so lightweight. I've never had such a large block with a grid, have the finger grips on the side, and be lightweight like this. I've got eucalyptus ink. I'm going to use several shades by Catherine Pooler. All the products are Catherine Pooler, of course. And I love these inks. They are so easy to ink up such a large surface with because they're foam and they give off such great amounts of ink. It's like makes stamping so much easier. Now there are some great prizes available with all the various hops that are going on while we are releasing this collection. So be sure to check those instructions out down in the section below, as well as the supplies used to make this project. You can see here I'm using the Sand Dunes cardstock, which is also a Catherine Pooler cardstock. It's a great craft colored cardstock and works so well with this eucalyptus color, which is part of the spa line, the soft and muted color line. I just love how that looks like a cozy little sweater, right? It's totally cute. So I'm going to speed this up really quick, and the next ink we're going to use is Peppermint Scrub, and it's a beautiful deep red. It's perfect for holiday cards, especially when you're using like a craft colored cardstock like the Sand Dunes. So look at how pretty that is, especially, you know, mixed with the eucalyptus right there. You can see, just lay that on top, burnish it with the back of your hand. I clearly put my pinky into the ink pad. That's okay. And there you have it. You know, all those images stamp so quickly. I love this new block. It gives you great opportunities to put lots of stamps together. You can see those are the 6 colors. I used Juniper, Mist, as well as Icing on the Cake. You can see here's Peppermint Scrub and the Eucalyptus. I also use a darker green, which is Spruce. That's on the bottom sheet, along with Sand Castle, which is a lighter brown, almost kind of like a craft color, so it worked really well with the Sand Dunes cardstock. Now I'm using a guillotine trimmer to trim these up, and I do speed this up, and I have a trick to show you at the end of this right here. It's very important to just kind of get these close. You don't want to cut them off right at the edge. You want to have a little bit of that Sand Dunes there just beyond the image, and then we're going to use all these strips. So you can see after cutting these all out, you have lots and lots of images, and we're only going to use part of them. That's how you get so many cards with just these 6 stamped images, you know, the row of images, which is great. Now this piece is a little small and it's getting a little difficult for me to get it perfectly lined up. I don't want to cut it crooked. So here's a little trick. This is what I do. I find that when I'm struggling a little bit, like you see here, I go ahead and I use an acrylic grid. It's easy to line up my piece against the metal blade, and then I use the grid to kind of push it along, thus keeping it totally straight. You can see that that plastic cover is in the up position, so this grid, which is something that's used for quilting, I believe, so you can find lots of those at like your big box store, and they're great because they're clear, so I use them all the time to help measure projects and things like that. But you can very easily just kind of push it into position, and then you can hold things in place by dropping that, you know, protector that protects your fingers when you're cutting using your trimmer. And this trimmer is by Tonic Studios. I love this trimmer. I've had it for 10 years. I've never had a dull blade, and I use it all the time. It's phenomenal. So now we're going to create a little background, and I'm using a couple stamps from the new Christmas cookie stamp set, which is super cute. And these are just actually some filler stamps, a little heart and a snowflake. I wasn't sure which one I was going to use, but I opted to just use the snowflake. But honestly, the heart would be very cute too. So you can see I'm stamping one image off and one image on, and I'm kind of keeping the bottom right section and middle clear because that's where I'm going to put my greeting. I'm going to fill up the rest of the image with a fun little, I guess, paper piecing, if you want to call it that, using those stamped strips. First off, I want to go ahead and add a little bit of edging to this. I'm kind of going for a rustic feel, so I wanted to do some very simple edging to my card front as well as all the little sweater images. And I'm really sorry, my camera seemed to have gotten a little out of focus here. It's going to fix itself in a second, I promise. You can see I'm kind of holding my ink blending tool on its side, and I'm keeping the part that's in contact with my craft mat. That part is down and the rest is up. That's my secret to how I get that really light feathered look. I'm also going a little darker in the corners. Now I'm going to do the same to all these strips. I'm not going to show you doing them all. I'm going to speed it up super quick, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera because you don't need to sit through that. But I still want to have that same feel from my card front to my pieces, and it really kind of lends to the feel of the entire project. Like I said, I want this to be a rustic or kind of country feel. So now we're going to kind of line them up, and I'm kind of positioning how I want them. And you can see now the concept and how you're going to get so many different cards because we're really only going to use bits and pieces of them. So I'm kind of measuring out, that's going to be my longest piece there on the bottom. And I decided that it had a little too much sandcastle off to the bottom and not as much at the top. So I just did a little bit of quick surgery there, just kind of trim that up. Very important to note that when you're doing that and you're cutting larger pieces, it's best to use large scissors like I am here versus the small microtip scissors. The small microtip scissors, when you're cutting larger areas, it's too easy to not be straight and even. So definitely make sure that you have a long blade also. So you can see as I'm going up, I'm kind of staggering them a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit smaller. So I'm kind of measuring and picking out the best stamped parts of those. And we are going to basically form a really fun little element to this because obviously I'm making a holiday card, right? So I'm sure you can kind of guess where I'm going here. We're going to make a little Christmas tree. And it's just kind of fun, right? A little sweater Christmas tree. But what I really love about the concept of this project is that I can get 12 cards from just those 6 stamped images, and I could probably actually get more than that. But it's very quick and easy to mass produce these. And you know, doing all the edging and things like that, doing all the different pieces, once I had those cut out, I just popped in a movie, quite honestly, and just hung out with my husband and just edged those and put my cards together. It was very simple to do. It was relaxing. And I have a bunch of Christmas cards to send out. So you can see I used some chocolate cardstock, which is also what I'm going to use for the base, and I created a tree trunk with that. It's not quite a 1/2 inch wide. It is actually a 1/16 of an inch short. I cut several of those. It's about 4 inches tall, or the final piece ended up being 4 inches tall, actually. I trimmed this one down a little bit because this was just a scrap. And I'm kind of positioning these and gluing them down. You don't need too much glue. I'm using a matte medium, so in case it does spill out, it's going to dry crystal clear. And I'm kind of doing them a little wonky, kind of one to the left, one to the right. I love this look, and it really kind of lends to the fun and the feel of the project, I think. And that's just my personal opinion. You may need it to be straight, and that's totally fine. Whatever look works for you. Now, I'm using one of the third stamp set out of this collection, and that is the Holiday Mix stamp set. And it's so many amazing sentiments. And you can really see by when you see the stamp down, it's peace and joy. So there are 3 separate words. There are so many different words in the stamp set, and some are kind of have that fun handwritten look, and some have this really cute print. I mean, look at that. We've got some stacked ones. There's individual letters. There's so much fun. Some greetings are put together. So it's a great entire collection of holiday sentiments to use. And be sure to check out the close-ups at the end of the video because I showcase all 12 of my cards, so you get to see some of the variety in sentiments and how I put them together. So I wanted to add a little tiny bit of drama to the card because it needed a little something to give it that little bit more of a wow factor. And I think you'll find that when you are looking for that, you're looking to add that little something else to a card. Popping it up really is the best solution. So here are a couple solutions that you can use. You can use some foam tape. You see I have a roll of foam tape, And I'm just using it whole and then just kind of cutting it apart, tearing it, and then I'm even using some mini foam squares in addition. It's always good for you to have a variety of adhesives for situations like this because one might not be the perfect solution for everything. So you can see here why it's also important to stamp down your sentiment first so that you can position your tree. You'd hate to position your tree and then have to perfectly fit your sentiment. Just going to glue that right down onto a card base, and that is some Catherine Pooler chocolate cardstock. It's the most beautiful shade of deep dark brown. If you don't have it, you need it in your collection for sure. I am very, very picky when it comes to browns, and it is the perfect brown. It's like a dark chocolate espresso. It's awesome. And now you have all those leftover pieces and you can create so many other projects. I show you here at the end how I took all these scraps and created 12 cards together. I parked myself in front of a movie and I've got 12 Christmas cards. This would be great also embossed, done in glitter on dark cardstock. There's so many wonderful possibilities here. I hope you really felt inspired. Don't forget about the giveaway. You need to subscribe as well as comment on every video in the hop. Make sure you like this video as well and give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you're not on the wait list, make sure to get on the wait list. All the information you need is in the section below, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very shortly. Bye-bye.